Okay, I don't usually get excited about doing unboxing and assembly videos, but I'm excited about doing this one. This is the Mokwheel Obsidian. This is a dual suspension 26 by 4-inch fat tire e-bike, and it has a 1,000-watt hub motor. That's right, a 1,000-watt hub motor. We're going to unbox it and assemble it in this video. We'll test ride and review it in a separate video, and if you're interested in this bike, there'll be links in the description. Let's get into it. The Mokwheel Obsidian. Let's crack that baby open. This is some really heavy duty cardboard. Wow, I'm gonna have to put this down. This is really thick. Holy smokes. I've gotta say, this is the first time I probably need a crowbar. I'm just gonna cut the top off of it. A quick peek at what's inside the box. Looks like this is gonna be our accessories. Let's go ahead and cut this box. On both sides. Pull it out of the box and get it ready for assembly. Looks like we have a lot of zip ties to pop. We'll go ahead and lean it up against the wall here and keep going. Nice handlebars. Looks like I found our fenders, front and back. Wow, would you look at that color? 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. D&M shock. Let's keep it going. Get off of there. 26 by 4-inch Chow-Yang tires with 180 millimeter Tektro rotors. Zoom neck. Shimano Altus derailleur. We got an air pump here. I don't know who's using that though. What a sharp looking bike. I have a funny feeling we're gonna need these to cover our lug nuts, and they're stuck inside these little squares, so make sure you don't just chuck them before you pull them out. We'll save them both. Always make sure you're not cutting any wires and you're just cutting the zip ties. Really easy to cut a wire you don't want to. Really pay attention to that. Hello Mokwheel, 1,000-watt motor. Okay, let's take a look and see what comes in the accessory box. Very nice heavy duty wrench set with Allen wrenches. This is a join the group and win a free gift. Looks like we have 5 zip ties, our owner's manual in color. We're gonna have some parts bags here. So everything's really individually wrapped nice. We even have a extra set of brake pads. Our rear battery powered light. Phillips head screwdriver, pedals left and right, our front headlight, and a bunch of other parts here. So I'm sure most of these are going to go toward the assembly of the bike, and then I'm sure there's also going to be some spare parts as well. And this is going to be our charger with cord and instruction sheet. That's everything that came in the accessory kit. So this is everything that came in the box. Okay, let's start with the handlebar assembly. You want to make sure that your stem is facing this direction. So you want it to be with these 4 screws toward the front of the bike, just as you're seeing it here. We're going to loosen up these 4 screws and then set up our handlebars first. So let's start with that. Nice heavy duty screws here for sure. So now when we pick up the handlebars, we want to make sure they're going the correct direction. They're going to get mounted right here, just like this. So let's go ahead and get this started. couple quick turns by hand to get them started. It's really simple to adjust these handlebars, plus we have a little bullseye right there. So what we're going to do is get them started and just tighten them down a little bit, not too much, just enough to get everything firmed up where we want it. Now whenever you're tightening down a stem to the handlebars, you always want to go crisscross, so like top right to bottom left, top left to bottom right. This ensures that you don't tighten the handlebars down unevenly. And then we can go ahead and make them a little bit tighter. Handlebars assembled. And this little cap here, we're gonna pop off. And it's gonna go right here. Perfect. We'll go ahead and assemble the display as well. So we'll go ahead and get our display lined up. And we'll go ahead and screw that down as well. It's going to take a nut and a screw. So we'll just hold the nut to the back, line it up, and tighten it right down. I'm holding the nut to the back here. Let's go ahead and get this other side started as well. There really are some nice tools that came with this bike, and I like these Allen wrenches. They're nice and long. Make it nice and snug. You don't want to over tighten any of these parts, especially with like this display. This is plastic and you don't want to break it. So once you feel it getting pretty snug, you're pretty good. You could always tighten things down again afterwards, and you always should check your bike after your first ride to make sure that nothing came loose and everything is still tight. Let's go ahead and assemble the seat. All we're going to do is take our seat with our seat post, slide it down the tube here, and then we're going to latch it closed nice and tight. On the back side here, there's a screw. You can turn this and it gives more tension to your quick release. So if your seat is loose, you'll give it a little bit more tension and push it closed. That prevents the seat from sliding down when you're riding, because that can become dangerous. So let's go ahead and flip the bike over and assemble the front tire. This is just for packing to keep the front forks aligned so they don't bend at all during shipment. So this is just for shipping, so we can go ahead and unscrew that and chuck it. That's garbage. So I put some padding underneath the front handlebars to keep them from touching the ground and to also keep the display off the ground. Once you pull out this spacer, you don't want to press down on that front brake because it'll bring those pistons together and you'll have some brake issues. So let's go ahead and assemble that front tire. I'm going to go ahead and back the screws off on both sides of the front tire. I think it's just easier to work with it that way. It doesn't take anything to put them back on. We'll go ahead and pop this protective piece off here, and I'll go ahead and unscrew this, and we'll put these aside as well. So we're going to want this rotor to drop right between those brake pads. We're going to rest the axle right on the fork just like that. So now we'll go ahead and tighten our lug nuts back down. And then we'll do the same to the other side. Now this one side that has this cap on it, I like to remove that just so I can tighten this down with the wrench. I don't want to leave that on and not get that tightened down enough. Make sure our other side's tightened down as well. Make sure they're nice and snug. Front tire assembled. No scrape. Let's go ahead and attach the kickstand. We had this little pouch with a couple screws and lock washers. We're going to go ahead and take these and assemble our kickstand. We'll go ahead and get it started by hand. Grab the correct size Allen wrench and we'll go ahead and tighten these right down. And we'll make them nice and snug. Kickstand assembled. Let's go ahead and assemble the left and right pedal. I'm always going to say it, make sure you're putting the right pedal on the right side and the left pedal on the left side. You don't want to cross thread them, and they make it really easy. The pedal is labeled left and the crank arm's labeled left. It's even showing you the direction to turn it. The bike's upside down, so it's easy to lose your orientation. Always put eyes on the L or the R, and just make it snug. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. These are some nice wide pedals. Make it nice and snug. Pedals assembled. We'll go ahead and flip the bike over and get our front light and fenders on. Okay, we're going to assemble our front fender and our light. So we're going to use the same screw for both. So we're just going to go ahead and pull this screw out that was already in the front of the bike. We're going to have our light mount here, and then our fender right on top of it, just like this. Let's go ahead and get that screw started. So we'll go ahead and get that tightened down. I like the fender to be mounted up a little bit higher, so I always push it up as high as it goes, and then if I want to move it down, I'll just move it down later. Now that that's tightened down, we'll get to work on our fender arms. First, we're going to take this packet here. It looks like that's going to have our L brackets in there. And these are going to get mounted up here, just like that. And we're going to need this little packet of screws here as well, pan head screws. And those are going to mount to the L bracket. They're going to screw in with our supplied Phillips head screwdriver. So I use the pan head Phillips head screw to mount the L bracket into the fork, and then I'm using the other screws with the washers to mount the fender arm onto the L bracket. So let's go ahead and get that started by hand, and then we'll go ahead and tighten them down. Do the same on the other side. Tighten it down. Perfect. Now I like these adjustable fender arms because you can unscrew this screw and slide them in and out to fill the gap between the tire and the fender. So it's really easy to adjust those. Let's go and hook up our headlight wire, and it's going to be yellow to yellow, and it's only going to pop on in one direction so you can see the groove. Snap it right on just like that. Okay, the front light and fender are assembled. Let's go ahead and do the fender on the back side. So we'll use one of our screw and washers. Go ahead and get the rear fender tightened down. Go ahead and attach the L bracket to the frame with the Phillips head pan head screws. We'll go ahead and screw our fender arms into the L brackets that are mounted to the frame here. We'll go ahead and do the other side as well. We'll go ahead and attach the L bracket to this side as well. Now, because it looks like that fender is so tight here to the tire, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the fender arm so I can pull them up higher. So I'm going to loosen both sides and lift them up. Go up to about there. That really gets that fender up off the tire. And we'll go ahead and tighten them down. Perfect. We'll go ahead and attach our battery powered rear tail light. Okay, that's going to wrap this one up for the unboxing and assembly of the Mokwheel Obsidian. Make sure that you check every nut, bolt, and screw, even if it wasn't part of the assembly today, to make sure that you're riding safe. So keep a lookout for our test ride and review video, and until next time, ride safe, have fun, see ya!